And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today I'm going to be going through 5 different games, giving you some first impressions of these games. So over the next couple months, I'll be doing full reviews of them, but I want to jump in and just give you my first thoughts on the games. So let's get started. First of all, we have 1942 USS Yorktown. This is in the small little box series of games that all have some sort of date in the front of them. This is the second I played in the series. They're nothing like each other. This is a real-time of sorts. Well, I shouldn't say of sorts. It's a real-time cooperative game. And in this game, you are sending out planes out to go sink an enemy ship, at the same time trying to fight off the Japanese planes that are coming back towards you. It sounds like a war game, although I would argue that people who don't like war games might still enjoy this because it's very abstracted out. You're just moving around, you roll dice, and the whole time, you keep moving, you keep moving. It's like you can't spend too much time thinking about these things. I'm not sure the real-time aspect is necessary in the game. I suppose it keeps it in a tight time frame. I felt a little constrained by that. I also felt that where the bad guys show up, or the Japanese planes show up in regards to you, it felt very random. And at the end of the day, there's a lot of cooperative games out there, and this one doesn't stand out much other than the theme, which is a cool idea. But you're basically fly out, blow up some stuff. Oh, I need more gas. Go back, get gas. Fly out, blow up some stuff. Oh, I need more gas. Go back. It felt very repetitive, even in the short time play. Not one I'd want to play more of. Catacombs Cubes. Now, unfortunately, this game's called Catacombs Cubes. It has nothing to do with Catacombs, the flicking dungeon game, other than they're in the same universe. I felt that's an unfortunate titling. The game itself is fine. What you're doing in this game is you roll some dice, you then draft these dice. These dice give you different Tetris shapes, which you build different buildings that are out there, and you use these shapes to build buildings. Now, this game is, my best descriptor of it would be pleasant. It's just fun. You just take it, you sit there, and you try to build the building. I finished a building. You get that building. Some buildings get points. Some buildings might give you extra bonuses when you build them. You also can all work together to build one giant building, which will score you points when you work on that. It's nice. It's like a lot of these build castle games that exist, except in this one, you actually build the stuff, and it has a little bit of that 3D thing. It's not terribly strategic at the end of the day. It's a little bit tactical. Just take the pieces you can and build up the stuff, but I like it, and it's a really pretty game too on top of that. Catacombs Cubes. Oceans. Oceans is essentially the sequel to Evolution. It's from the same company, North Star Games, and Oceans is about, well, the evolving of species in the ocean. Now, hands down, this is one of the prettiest games you'll ever get. They have a deluxe version and then a normal version. Honestly, the normal version is extremely cool, and it has a small mechanism in it where all the fish in this game are the same, but you have different colored fish, and you throw in different species of fish based on how many players are in the game. That's fascinating. You are going to be collecting and building different species of fish in front of you, or ocean creatures, and giving them traits. There's a deck of 120 traits, 12 different traits, 10 of each. So you're using these to build them, and then as the game goes by, there's another deck that has every card in that deck's different, and so you can make your fish extremely unique. It's very mean. You're constantly attacking each other, eating other people's fish. Also, your own fish are going to die as time goes by, so don't get too attached to the species. I liked it. It definitely feels like Evolution, again, in the ocean. It's not the exact same game, but they fit the exact same feeling for me. It's not like there's a lot different. I prefer this one because I think the ocean theming is cooler for me, and I also like how pretty the game looks. But I feel pretty confident if you like Evolution, you like Oceans, and if you don't, you won't like Oceans. There's differences to them, but they give that exact same feel. Traintopia. This is a very small, not a small game, it's in a Ticket to Ride size box, but it's an upcoming game from Boards and Dice, which I really liked. It is a game in which you are drafting each turn, but you're drafting tiles and or pieces to place on those tiles. As you draft tiles, you're building these little train tracks on the board, which will score you points at the end. When you draft pieces, you'll put them on and immediately score, so you have to know what to do when. It scales really well, it's not that long, and it's just satisfying to build all these little train tracks. So it's like a fun, shorter Carcassonne with immediate scoring, and you each have your own little tableau. A little bit of a table hog, depending on how you build your trains out there. And one of the pieces, the train piece, feels less powerful than the others, but overall very enjoyable. And then finally, Isle of Cats. This is, I always have to be careful saying that title. This is a game with Tetris-shaped pieces, which you're putting on a boat. You are bringing the boat in to shore, attracting these different cats to your ship and placing them on there will score lots of points. The game is essentially a drafting game. You have a hand of cards, keep 2, pass them until you have 7 cards. Some of these cards will be endgame scoring conditions. Some of the cards will help you attract cats to your boat. Some do different things. You have this fish resource that you'll be using to get all this stuff. It's great. Everyone is this is going to be one of the most talked about games of the year because how simple it is. The fact of the matter is, this game doesn't really bring anything new to the table. These pentomino pieces, Tetris-style pieces, we've seen these in many, many games. Drafting, we've seen that many games. I haven't seen a game that combines the two. This does it really well. The drafting really reminds me of Bunny Kingdoms, which is one of my favorite games, and I love the many different ways that this game can play out. I'm going to keep these cards for scoring. I'm going to, fight over the different areas. How am I going to place the pieces on my boat? What are some main goals everyone's going for? It just works extremely well and is a really easy game for people to jump into, but I feel also offers some deeper play involved. So that's Isle of Cats. Highly recommend it. There you go. 5 previews of things to come. The full reviews will be coming up later on in the Dice Tower. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see y'all later.